The mountains were quiet in a way that felt ancient, like they had been resting long before anyone learned how to speak. Soft mist floated between tall pine trees, and the air smelled clean, cool, and gentle. You stood at the start of a narrow trail wrapped in a light jacket, feeling the calm of the land move into you. No noise from cities, no buzzing phones, just wind, trees, and your own slow breath. Each step on the path felt easy, like the earth itself was guiding your feet. Leaves whispered as you passed. Birds watched silently from high branches. Somewhere, far away, a stream sang a soft song that sounded like sleep. The sky above was pale blue, slowly fading into soft evening colors. Clouds moved lazily, as if they had nowhere important to be. You didn't hurry. There was nothing to chase. With every step, the world you carried inside, worries, plans, heavy thoughts grew lighter. They slipped away like mist under sunlight. The mountains didn't ask who you were. They didn't ask what you had done. They only offered you stillness. As the path curved higher, the air grew cooler, and your breathing grew slower. Your heart matched the rhythm of your steps. Calm, steady, kind. Tonight, this hike is not about reaching the top. It is about letting go. About walking gently into quiet. About finding a place where your thoughts can finally rest. And somewhere, between the trees and the clouds, between one slow step and the next, sleep will begin to walk beside you. Silently, patiently. Like an old friend who knows you are ready to rest. The trail began softly, like a secret only the mountains knew. Pine trees stood tall on both sides, their dark green branches moving gently in the evening wind.
The air
Was cool, fresh, and filled with the quiet scent of earth and leaves. You walked slowly. Not because you were tired, but because the land asked you to. Every step felt like it belonged exactly where it landed. Stones rested calmly under your boots. Leaves whispered as you passed, like they were saying hello and goodbye at the same time, somewhere far away. A bell from a mountain village rang. Once not loud, not urgent, just a reminder that people still lived quietly beyond the trees. The path curved gently upward. Mist drifted between the trees like slow-moving clouds that had decided to rest on the ground. As you walked through it, the world grew softer, quieter, and more distant. Your breath slowed without effort. In, out. Calm and steady. You notice small things now. A spider's web shining like silver thread. A tiny flower growing between stones. A bird resting, watching you without fear. Nothing hurried, nothing pushed. The mountains did not care about time. They cared about stillness. As you walked, your thoughts began to loosen. Plans faded. Worries softened. Heavy memories became lighter, like leaves floating away in wind. You reached a small clearing where you could see far below, hills rolling like sleeping animals, covered in dark green and soft shadow. The sky above had begun to turn orange and pink as the sun slowly lowered. You sat on a smooth rock. It was cool, but not cold. The stone felt like it had been waiting for you for many years. You listened, wind and trees, bird wings moving, your own breath, for the first time in a long while. Your mind was not asking questions. It was simply here, after resting. You stood again and followed the path as it continued gently upward. The light grew softer, the forest darker, but not frightening, just quiet. You felt safe. Somewhere ahead, a small wooden cabin waited. Not for crowds, not for noise, only for someone who was ready to rest. And with each slow step toward it, you felt sleep beginning to walk beside you, quietly, patiently, like a shadow made of peace. The path became narrower as you walked higher, but it never felt unsure. It curved like it already knew where you needed to go. Trees leaned closer, now their branches forming a gentle roof above you. Through small spaces between leaves, the sky showed its last colors of sunset, soft gold melting into deep blue. The air grew cooler, but it felt kind. It wrapped around you like a quiet blanket. You heard the sound of water before you saw it, a slow, steady song. Soon, you reached a small stream crossing the path. Clear water moved over smooth stones, shining like tiny stars. You knelt and touched the water. It was cool, fresh, and alive. You washed your hands and face, and with that simple act, something heavy left you like you had washed more than just dust away. You followed the trail again, and soon the trees opened to reveal a small wooden cabin. Smoke rose gently from its chimney. A warm light glowed through one window. You walked to the door and pushed it open. Inside, the cabin smelled of wood and fire. A small table, a chair, and a soft bed waited quietly. No noise, no rush. You set your bag down and sat for a moment, listening to the fire crackle softly. Outside, the forest had gone still. Night was arriving slowly, carefully. You stepped outside again and looked up. Stars had begun to appear, not all at once, but one by one. Like shy lights, the mountains stood dark and calm against the sky. You felt small, but safe. Back inside you, lay on the bed. The fire kept the room warm. The wind touched the walls gently. Your breath slowed. Your body softened. Your thoughts faded. Outside, the mountains watched over you. And somewhere between the last sound of wind and the first quiet of sleep, you drifted into rest, carried by the calm of the Transylvanian night. Night settled over the mountains like a soft blanket. Inside the cabin, the fire burned low and steady, filling the room with warm orange light. Shadows moved gently along the wooden walls, slow and calm, like they were breathing with you. You lay still, listening. The wind whispered outside. Trees spoke quietly to each other. Far away, an owl called once, then rested again. Your eyes were closed, but your mind was open in a peaceful way. Thoughts no longer rushed. They drifted slowly, like clouds in a quiet sky. You felt yourself slipping into sleep, but not all at once. It came gently, step by step, like the mountain trail that had brought you here in your dreams. You found yourself walking again, but now the path glowed faintly, as if moonlight lived inside the stones. The trees were taller, softer, and their leaves shimmered like silver. You were not alone. A calm presence walked beside you. You couldn't see a face, but you felt kindness, warmth, and peace. It did not speak with words. It spoke with feeling. You walked together without hurry. Soon the forest opened into a wide field covered in soft mist. The mist moved slowly, like breathing. In the center of the field stood a tall tree with glowing leaves. Not bright, not sharp, just warm and gentle. You walked to it and sat beneath its branches. The ground felt like a bed made of clouds. The air smelled sweet and clean. The presence beside you seemed to say, "Rest here, you are safe." You leaned back and closed your eyes again. Memories came, but not heavy ones. Happy moments, quiet, smiles, soft voices, warm hands. Each memory floated past you like a leaf on water, never stopping, never hurting. Then the memories faded. Too, you felt lighter than you had ever felt. The glowing tree slowly faded into stars. The stars turned into tiny lights that drifted into your chest, filling you with calm. You breathed in and out. Each breath felt deeper than the last. Back in the cabin, your body shifted slightly under the blanket. Your face softened. Your hands rested gently by your side. Outside, snow began to fall. Not thick. It's not fast. Just a few slow flakes drifting through the dark air. They touched the roof, the trees, the ground, and disappeared quietly. The mountains did not move. They simply watched. In your dream, you walked again. But now the trail led downward. The glowing stones faded into normal earth. The silver trees became pine trees again. The calm presence walked you back to the cabin. The door, it stopped. You felt it say without words, "You can return here whenever you rest." You nodded, though you didn't move. Then you stepped inside the dream cabin and lay down once more. Dreams began to fade into deep sleep. No pictures, no stories, only rest. Your breathing became slow and even. Your heart beat softly, like a distant drum. The fire in the cabin turned to glowing coals. The light dimmed. The room filled with gentle shadow. Outside, the snow stopped. Clouds moved across the stars. The wind rested. Everything was still, and in that stillness, your body healed, your mind softened, and your heart found quiet. You slept deeply, not the kind of sleep that rushes by, but the kind that stays, the kind that fills you, the kind that makes tomorrow feel gentle before it even arrives. The mountains stood around you like guardians, and all through the night nothing asked anything from you. You did not have to think. You did not have to decide. You did not have to be anything. You were allowed to simply rest, and you did. Morning arrived without noise. It did not knock, did not rush. It simply appeared, slowly turning the dark sky into soft gray, then pale blue. Inside the cabin, you were still asleep. Your breathing was deep and calm, like the mountains around you. The fire had turned into quiet ash, still warm enough to hold the night. Outside, the forest woke gently. A bird sang one low note, then rested. Another answered. The wind moved once through the trees, and then became still again. You shifted under the blanket and opened your eyes slowly. For a moment, you forgot where you were. Then you smelled the wood, the cold air, the faint memory of fire, and you remembered. It's the hike, the trail, the cabin, the deep sleep. You sat up and stretched softly. Snow from the night before rested gently on branches and stones, turning everything into a quiet painting. The sky was clear. The sun was low and golden, touching the peaks like a blessing. You stepped outside. Cold air kissed your face, but it felt kind. You breathed in deeply. The air filled your lungs with freshness, with silence, with peace. You did not think. You did not plan. You simply stood. After a while, you walked a short distance from the cabin. Snow crunched softly under your boots. Each sound felt respectful of the quiet. You reached a small hill and sat on a rock. Below you, the forest stretched, wide and calm. Mist moved slowly between trees like a dream that had not yet ended. You thought of nothing, and in that nothing, felt full. After some time, you returned to the cabin, packed your bag slowly, and drank warm tea by the window. Each sip felt like a thank you to the night. When you were ready, you stepped back onto the trail. The path led downward now. The forest looked different in daylight, brighter, softer, more open. You walked slowly, just as you had climbed along the way. You noticed small signs of life. A rabbit crossing your path, then stopping to look at you. A bird hopping close, not afraid. Footprints in the snow that had already begun to fade. You realized something gentle. Nothing tries to stay forever. Everything is allowed to pass. As you walked, you felt the quiet you had found in the mountains walk with you. It did not stay behind. It moved inside your chest, in your breath, in your steps. By the time you reached the lower forest, the sun was higher, the air warmer, the world louder, but not too loud. You knew you would return to your life soon. But you also knew something more important. The mountains were not just a place. They were a feeling, and that feeling now lived in you. That night, wherever you slept, in a bed, in a room, in a busy world, you would close your eyes and remember the mist, the trees, the cabin, the silence, and sleep would find you again. Just as gently as it did in the Transylvanian mountains. As you rest now, let the calm of the mountains stay with you. You don't have to be in Transylvania to feel this peace. You only have to breathe slowly, gently, just like you did on the quiet trail. Tonight, give yourself permission to rest without guilt. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be. Before sleep, try one small ritual. Turn off bright lights. Let your room grow soft and quiet. Sit or lie down and place one hand on your chest. Feel your breath rise and fall. With every breath out, imagine the mountain air leaving you lighter and calmer. If your thoughts begin to wander, do not fight them. Mountains do not fight clouds. They simply let them pass. Let your thoughts move like clouds across your sky. Remember the cabin. Remember the fire turning to quiet ash? Remember the snow touching the trees without making noise. All of that calm lives inside you now. Share this story with someone who feels tired of carrying too much. A gentle story can be a small gift that brings big rest. Come back whenever your heart needs quiet. Let stories like this walk beside you into sleep. You deserve nights that heal you. You deserve mornings that feel gentle. You deserve rest that feels safe. Close your eyes now. Breathe slowly, and let sleep find you, just like the mountains taught you to let go.